I first heard about the symbolism of the butterfly 36 hours after my son had drowned. And I'm sitting there in the hospital with the organ donation doctor telling me some bullshit about transformation, rebirth, and freedom. That was the last thing I wanted to hear in that moment. I didn't want rebirth or transformation. I wanted him exactly how he was. I wanted my little boy with the man bun and big brown eyes who carried so much magic with him everywhere he went. But I knew that doctor was right, and I hated him for it. What I didn't know was that the butterfly would end up becoming a lifeline, that it would bring me so much hope, so much love, and so much connection. We felt deeply prompted to share our story. 1, for my own healing. 2, because we believe this message might help a lot of people out there. And 3, because Romeo told us to. So I'm going to take you through the worst day of my life, the best day of my life, and all the miracles in between, including one of the greatest miracles, a loving, supportive partner. The way Romeo brought him into my life being one of the most insane and beautiful things I've ever experienced. And our story, it's not just about grief. It's about love. It's about my relationship with my son on the other side, my relationship with myself, my relationship with a higher power, and my relationship with this man beside me. Because that's what it means to be fully engaged. And this story, this is just the start. Hi, I'm Briosha, and this is my fiance.
Oh, Connor DeLynn. I didn't know she was passing it off to me right there. We're in episode 1, and we're going to figure this out along the way.
Cool, let's do it.
We felt like we should do this for a little while now.
Yes.
First off, if you just listened to that intro, Briosha is pretty incredible, and I think in her most inspired state when she's writing. You write in your journal a lot, and I think that's really where you get into flow. And the little journal entries that are at the start of these next few episodes, she read for me the one time, and I was just like sobbing, right? Like, wow, that is so incredible.
Which isn't off character for him. You're going to find out pretty fast.
Yeah, you're going to find I cry a little bit. So should I just get sappy right from the start?
If you want.
When I met Briosha, I was in awe of her. Her eyes sparkle. She has this glitter to her. She carries herself with lightness and just emits light. And then I heard her story. And honestly, it was hard for me to comprehend that thought. Like, how can someone going through that amount of grief, loss, heartbreak, still be happy and smiley and have a conversation with me like this, that I'm attracted to her energy? And that has been what I've had the chance to witness on a front row seat for the last 15 months, since January of 2024. And I realized early on with you, all of a sudden, now we were like, all right, we're going to date, that dating you meant dating all of you. Not just the highs and the great glittery eye stuff, but the lows. And I told you, hey, I'm in for all of it. And that means, too, that I'm adopting grief. I'm adopting something to grieve. And it's really important to me because of who I love. And that, for me, is why I'm so excited about this project and feel so honored that you've asked me to help you do this. Because I've learned a lot watching you go through what you've gone through the last year and a half. Just in recording these episodes, there have been stories that you've told me that are different pieces that I didn't know. And I have a hard time thinking, my person has those thoughts in their head. You wake up from dreams back in that moment.
Yeah.
But you figured out how to still live a beautiful life, and more importantly, how to stay connected to that little boy in a way that I'm excited to share that message with the world.
Aw, well, thank you. It means the world that you're helping me share my story. And I know that you're helping me, but also, I do think this is going to help so many other people too.
Yeah. Why now? Why do you feel called to tell it? I know you said in your letter for your own healing, because Romeo told you to help other people, but what is it?
I've already started sharing my story online, and I don't feel like I've been able to share the full story, all the beauty, all the miracles, all the insight. And I think this sharing with you, who is such a huge part of it, is such a cool opportunity. And I do know it's going to help a lot of people. I recently was in this grief group where I was talking to all these people who were just so stuck in the loss, so stuck in the grief. And, you know, if I could tell them anything, it would be that there is still hope, there is still connection, and there is still love, and that their person is not gone. So I think this is my unique little way to share that with them, but with more people too.
Yeah. And, you know, as we've discussed this for the last few months, you're not a grief coach.
Right.
You're not like some therapist or expert in helping people overcome trauma. And we really didn't want to tell a heavy story over and over and keep people there, because the beauty is kind of the duality of both, like we'll get into.
1000%, yes. You know, I feel like God has taught me more than anything in this lifetime, the duality of life. You know, like I found myself holding the most incredible grief of my life. And then 7 weeks later, I was pregnant, and I was literally also holding the most incredible miracle of new life. And so with that, I was forced to literally just accept both and to hold both and to realize it is okay to grieve and it is okay to love at the same time.
Yeah. So rather than doing a show on grief or trauma or trying to help people get through that, we decided just to share our experience and where we're at right now. And you just said love too.
Yes.
We got engaged last month.
Crazy.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. Now, she says crazy. Tell them why you say crazy.
I didn't believe in marriage when I met you. Like
She didn't. She's like, do I want a husband? That word was so foreign to her.
Oh, yeah. The word husband is pretty foreign to me. But, you know, just because I haven't ever really seen a solid example of what that looks like. And literally when people would get married or would be married, I would go around and ask them, why? And just out of curiosity, not even out of judgment, I'm just literally trying to pin down, like, why are you choosing to legally pin yourself to somebody forever? Like, you know, that means forever, right? What if you don't like this person in 10 years? So crazy that I'm sitting here with you right now, engaged.
Yes, she did say yes. Now
took a little bit of work on me, didn't it?
Yeah. Now me, on the other hand, like I come from the opposite end of the spectrum. My parents were high school sweethearts. You could ask a lot of people that know my family, what are one of the best relationships you know? And they'd say my mom
Devin
and dad.
Joanne.
Yeah. My grandparents, both sets. I'm the oldest grandchild, had amazing examples to look to in that department. And for me, relationships and dating has always been my Achilles heel. I've gone on hundreds of first dates. I've been a bachelor for the last 15 years. And frankly, that whole time, there was nothing more than I wanted than to be a husband and a father. All the men that I aspired to be like, that I looked up to, it was because of how they showed up for their families. It was because of how they were to their wife, how they were to their kids. And I haven't had the opportunity to do that. And I frankly, for a lot of my life, have looked at that as just like this missing piece, like this hole in my life that needed to be filled. And, you know, so now here we are. We decided to do it. And as common as marriage is, and as tradition has it to where we just all know that marriage is a thing, if you think about it, it's actually kind of crazy, like you just said, right?
Yeah.
Like two people that have totally different backgrounds, experiences.
Different traumas.
Traumas, yeah, like pasts that you've got to work through,
Totally.
beliefs, value systems.
Totally.
And you say, let's do it all together. Right?
Let's create a life. Let's create a home. Let's make babies. You know, half of me, half of you.
Yeah. And you hear like the narrative that 50% of marriages end in divorce. But you could flip that right on its head and say, well, that means 50% of marriages work. Like, maybe that's impressive stat.
Okay, but what does work even mean? You know, like just because 50% of marriages are successful, like what makes that successful? Are they happy?
We're at this point in our relationship now where we don't want to settle for average.
Right.
Like, all right, we just got engaged. We're getting married next year. And it's like, let's be intentional about this. Like, let's design the kind of life we want to have, the kind of relationship we want to have. And I think we've realized that, you know, as the name of the show, we're going to drop it here. The recipe to do that is to be fully engaged.
Totally.
Like, you have to be all in.
Right. All in on your life, all in on each other, and all in on, I don't know, the experience.
Yeah. And commitment, right?
Yes.
Like the power of committing to each other. And I mean, just for us, like, yeah, we dated for a year plus, but when the ring was on your finger and all of a sudden we'd committed to getting married, we felt a different layer of commitment.
Oh, totally.
And I know we'll feel the same thing when we get married too, like that
Yeah.
continual process.
Yeah. And that's something that I didn't even understand before. Like when I would ask people, well, why are you choosing to get married? And they'd say, oh, the commitment. But I didn't get it. And now I do. It is an added layer of commitment.
Yeah. So obviously we're starting a show. It's called Fully Engaged. Here's how it's going to work. The first 3 episodes, we are going to tell your story and our story. I come in toward the end, right? We're going to tell her story in a way that is the most complete yet.
Yeah.
We're putting out all 3 episodes right at the start. So you're going to be able to binge these. You'll hear the whole thing. It's way too much to just try to do it in one episode. And I hope that you feel the highs and the lows of this. Episode 2 is heavy. It's difficult. It's the accident. I think there's a little confusion around the accident sometimes,
Yeah.
especially with people who followed you.
Totally. You know, people making assumptions or trying to fill in blank spaces. So that's why it's really important to me that we have the full telling of the accident and, you know, everything that happened after
Yeah.
and before.
Yeah. Now, let's just do this because there are probably people that have no idea who we are that are starting this right now. Let's give some highlights of the story so they kind of know what they're getting into. And there are definitely some interesting pieces to this. Starting with your parents bringing you into the world and the pattern that established.
Right. So my parents actually got pregnant with me during a breakup. You know, it was Valentine's season. I'm a Scorpio baby. But when I actually became pregnant with Romeo, that also was an accidental pregnancy. I was only 21 years old. Romeo's dad was 19 years old. And what's crazy is I was on birth control, and I remember thinking that I had skipped a day. Turns out I did, but you know, what a blessing.
Yeah, so Romeo is a total mama's boy that you're going to
Yes.
find out here.
He's still a mama's boy,
Yes,
by the way.
still a mama's boy. And just do this too. Tell us just quickly a little bit about Romeo. What was his presence like, his essence?
He carried magic with him everywhere he went. He could walk into a room and everybody would stop whatever they were doing and look at him. Like I literally felt like a celebrity just walking around with him. It was so fun being his mom. Very sweet disposition, gorgeous. You know, he had the man bun going, the big brown eyes, so cute, had this like surfer boy vibe. But yeah.
And he was 2.5 years old when he passed.
Yeah. It was on my watch, and I've had to deal with the guilt from that. He passed away July of 2022, and then 7 weeks later, I actually was pregnant with my daughter, Amara.
We're going to get into all of that. But 7 weeks after, in the middle of that grief, you get pregnant with Amara.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of crazy to see how that has been such a major part of your story too, of
Totally.
like giving life as you were grieving it.
Totally. And what's also crazy is I actually had an at-home birth. And why I did this was because I wanted to feel it. You know, like I had just gone through this incredible grief, and I found it really hard to feel, if I'm being honest. It felt like this void. And so giving birth and being able to feel life was something I really wanted.
She gave birth to Amara in her home with 2 ibuprofen. And I think that's really interesting of like in a time where you felt so numb,
Yeah.
you refused to numb yourself in that moment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And then it's crazy how active he's been in your life. I think a lot of people look to you on social media because you are such an example of involving him in your life and creating different ways that he can speak to you. And so talk a little bit about like the butterflies, the rainbows, music.
Yeah, so my relationship with him just continues to evolve. It didn't end that day of the accident. It's only continued. And yeah, he continues to talk to me through so many different things. It's always changing. But it started with the blue butterfly.
Yeah. And then the two of us, if you're wondering how we met on an ayahuasca retreat in the mountains of Colombia with the native Inga tribe. Yeah, if that doesn't make you a little bit curious, I don't know what will. It is not a place that either of us expected to be. She was actually gifted the trip from someone that heard her story, and I was invited, did not plan on going, and just a few weeks before had as many green lights, synchronicities, signs from the universe, whatever you want to call them, telling me to go on that trip. And I met this girl there. And I'll also tell you, I talk about it in episode 2 and in episode 3. But I had an experience in that healing place with her son. Before I even had any sort of relationship with her, we were just friends and had known each other for like a week. And Romeo was able to introduce himself to me in a way that it's pretty crazy. It was so sacred for a while. I didn't even talk to her about it. But to see what that story's done for other people now, we're going to tell it here too.
So cool.
Yeah. Then we fell in love. We'll talk through our love story a little bit. And the name of episode number 3 is what you call him.
My little wingman. We like to joke around a lot because we do feel like he brought Connor into my life, that he's my little wingman.
Yeah. And all of this ends with a surprise ending that I definitely wouldn't have scripted. But I proposed to this girl. I mean, if you see the screen right here, these are the pictures. So this is the proposal we got pictures of, but we kind of claim there were actually 2 proposals. The next one happened the same night on a beach just a little bit down the street. I got down on one knee, completely butt naked, on a nudist beach, and asked this girl to marry me.
And if you know Connor DeLynn, him proposing butt naked is the last thing you think he would ever do. So this man must love me.
Yeah, it was the exact moment both of us needed for reasons that we can go into later. I didn't want to tell this story to anyone. Meanwhile, Bree has told this story to every person
Literally
we have met.
every single person I see.
And now we're going to tell it on the show. So that's the first 3 episodes. And then the two of us are going to take on a bit of a challenge. We are getting married next August. And before that, in the next year, we are going to interview 100 couples before our big day.
Right. So that's us as a couple interviewing another couple. So it's always 2 on 2. And we're going to be finding out their highs, their lows, what makes them fully engaged, their stories.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I mean, for us, we love learning from other people's experiences and their story. And also, we're not naive to the fact of there's a lot we have to work through. Your grief is never something that's going to be checked off. You're never going to be over it.
I have a lot going on. I have a daughter, right? So
yeah, I think it'll be really helpful for us. I think it'll be really fun, and I hope that it helps you along the way, and will be kind of fun to go through this. And, I think what's awesome about this is, listen, we are not experts. We are not coaches. We're not here trying to sell you a course. I get plenty of that in my day job, okay? And so, if there's anything that we could not be experts in, it would be relationships.
Yeah.
And so I think our mentality is to approach these conversations with a mindset of be curious, not judgmental. What can you learn from every conversation, from everyone? There's no perfect couple.
Yes, every story, every perspective is so unique to each person.
Yeah. And I think we want to set the container right. We want to create a community that's built on the right values and standards. And so that thought right there, be curious, not judgmental. We hope that's something that you take into the episodes. Something as simple as you've talked about this a little bit on social media. Maybe we say it here of people expecting you to really cry hard or look in this way. Talk about that.
Right. So one of the hardest things I found in my grief journey was a lot of people would look at me with their perspectives and their judgments on how they felt like I should be grieving or how my trauma should be showing up for me. And I found that really confusing and really isolating, actually. So that's something I want us to be really careful not to do on the show, and also to just bring awareness to.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, it comes down to being kind, right? When you understand everyone has a story, everyone's going through stuff, Yeah, you might not have cried when you talked about the story right then, but you could have been up all night and your tears are all dried up, right? Like understanding that
Right.
everyone is coming at life and each and every day from a different place. And so seek to have empathy, like seek to be kind, seek to understand. That's what we hope to do here.
Totally. And there's another thing is with me sharing my story online, I've received a lot of so much support, first of all. Like I have people all over the world sending me their blue butterflies or sharing stories of their loss or their transformation stories. And it's so incredible. But also, you know, there has been some negativity and there has been some hate. So I think that we hope to have a community where if that is shown, that it's not poured energy into.
Yeah. Here's where the kind of protective side of me pops in a little bit. Like I know what she's going through and what she's dealing with. So when I read some random dude on Instagram that decides to take a hit there, like, yeah, it pisses me off. But here's kind of the conversation that we've had of like, if you were to hear Bree's story and decide that you were going to take a swipe at her on social media, that person's probably not doing okay in the moment. And so for our community, like if that happens, when that happens, send them love. Like give them recognition, send them acknowledgement and love. Don't go down to that level. And I think that with our story will be huge, but especially all the other stories we bring on,
1000%.
right? Like
Yeah.
answer that negativity with just love and hope. And as my mom would say, kill them with kindness.
Kill them with kindness. Yes.
Now let's talk about kindness because
Yes.
we like the outpouring of support that you get from people still
Yeah.
is crazy. Like people
Yeah.
sending you gifts and they'll hand make crafts or a painting or this or that.
Or like drawings or anything like that. It's been so freaking cool.
Yeah.
The number one thing I've been gifted though has been jewelry. And jewelry for me has been so amazing to have something that's helped me feel connected to my son on the other side. I recently started a permanent jewelry company called Osha Chains.
Yep.
And I'm so excited about it. And we actually put together a butterfly necklace piece that you can purchase directly from my website, oshachains.com.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I mean, so she's been permanent jewelry. I didn't know it was a big thing, but now it's gotten really popular and she does
Right.
pop-ups and bachelorette parties and things like that. But as we were doing this show, we were like, you know, so many people are drawn to the butterfly, not only to remember Romeo, but maybe past loved ones of their own, or just the symbolism of that rebirth and your own transformation, your connection to a higher power. We're like, let's create a unifying piece of jewelry here that people that are touched by this story can have.
Totally.
And so you've personally designed this, and every necklace that goes out,
know.
you make.
I'm so excited, yes, because every necklace that goes out, I personally make. It comes out of my chain, my charms I choose, my connectors. So that's why I'm just like so excited.
Yeah. And then as we thought about this, the necklace that we have on the website, it's not like a Claire's necklace that you go get for $15 and
Yeah.
give to your little nephew
It's
or
nice
niece or
quality.
something. Like it's nice.
It's made to be permanent, so you can wear it every single day.
Yeah. But with that, we didn't want anyone in our community that wanted a necklace to remember Romeo or their past loved one to not be able to do that because of price, because of cost. So we were thinking around this the other day. This idea felt pretty inspired. I think it might have come from little Romeo trying to maybe help some people out there. But what we've done on our website, you'll see, is when you actually go to get a necklace, you'll have the opportunity to gift one to someone else and actually write a personalized note to that person, or anonymous, but you'll be able to write a note to that anonymous person who it's being gifted to. And then what that means is if you want a necklace, but you just can't do it financially right now, you can actually put some information into us. And because of generous people that have basically pre-gifted someone, you'll be getting a necklace paid for by someone else in the community.
Which is so cool. And a sweet little message from them too. Like, I just freaking love that so much.
And it's like, I think sometimes in life, we don't get enough opportunities to do good, right? And so
Yeah.
in this mode of like, if everyone that wants a necklace gets one, but then
Yeah.
also people that are touched by this story have the opportunity to do something kind, to pay it forward, to do an act of love.
Right.
And I cannot wait to see people sharing on social media, like getting a gift from someone they don't even know.
Totally. Well, it's meant the world to me. Like the little things that I've been gifted and the support I've been shown. Like my whole life has changed so dramatically because somebody saw my story online and paid for me to go on an ayahuasca retreat in Colombia where I met you. Like that's where everything even started.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really cool. The whole gifting thing is really special.
Yeah. I love how excited you are about that. So yeah, oshachains.com, and you can either go get a necklace for yourself, you can gift one, or you can put your information in and see that gift come your way from someone else's generosity. Now, the last thing we'll say here is as you're listening to these next couple episodes, if there are people that come to your mind, if you have an impression or a thought to reach out, to send a kind word, to do something nice, to check in on someone, don't doubt that and just do it.
Totally. You know, like a big part of my relationship with Romeo today has been the little nudges that he sends me and just following through on those nudges.
Yeah. I think you can sit all day long and be like, is that me? Or was that a sign from above or whatever it might be? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like if it's pushing you towards love, towards gratitude, towards understanding, toward kindness, do it. And so with that mindset, like if you feel that this story could help someone or maybe lift them up, please share it. And we're really excited to see where this show goes. Really excited to share the whole story as you get into these next couple episodes now. And I'm excited to do it with you.
Me too. And just thank you to everybody who is listening, who's gotten this far. Like seriously, means the world to me. So thank you so much.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Thank you so much, and enjoy the next couple episodes.
Hi. I'd like to end this episode with a special tribute to Romeo. It's important to me to acknowledge that his loss isn't just mine. It's also his dad's, his amazing grandparents, his aunts, uncles, and so many of you who have been touched by his spirit too. So I'd like to share this video with you. For those of you watching, I made this video to commemorate the 2-year mark of his passing. For those of you listening, the song itself is enough. You can find this song online. It's Blue Butterfly by Sydney Harris. My sister-in-law, Sydney, created and produced this song only a few months after his accident. It is the only song she's ever written, and she did that in one day, and she has not made anything since. I have no doubt Romeo helped create this song through her, and I'm so excited to share it with you.
Are you flying?
Okay, one sec.
He was almost 3. The happiest boy you'd ever meet. He had the world in his hands, filled with so much light. Mom and dad who'd guide him through his life. So young, so wild, so free. I'm still holding on to every piece of you. I don't wanna say goodbye, I don't wanna believe it's true.
You're welcome.
If I could just see you smile, or those big brown eyes, hear your laugh just one more time. It's there in a blue butterfly. That day in July was the day our lives forever changed.
This is my first day with Romeo.
Boy could leave so much empty space. He's mama's angel now, helping her be strong.